with 3 first-round picks and then a second-round pick, is it more important than usual to maybe look at trades with the roster crunch and things like that and try to figure out how to put it all together, or is it just take it as it comes?
I wouldn't say it's more important. I think that we always look all the way up until we make the pick, all the possibilities that exist. We talk to every team in the draft, and we come up with lots of different ideas of trades that we want to make. But I don't, you got to do good deals. I say that all the time. It's not a matter about just making deals or important to make a deal. It's not ideal if we add 4 rookies to the team that we currently have, if that's what you're referring.
Hey, Danny, just I know the team put out a statement, but and you've been around the team for quite a long time as a player, and obviously in your role now. What can you share as far as memories of Tommy Heinsohn?
Wow. Tommy was just a great friend. When I first came in as a rookie, he took me under his wing. He was a guy that spent a lot of time encouraging me. It was a rough year as a rookie coming in the middle of the year. Just gave me a lot of great insight as a mentor. I've loved Tommy. I used to go back, leave the first quarter, the first half of games, and sometimes I'd go in these last few years, and I know that Tommy would be back in in one of the offices, and he'd be there all alone and watch the game on TV, and I'd go in and talk with him a lot. So everywhere in between. I mean, I've listened on the buses, on the airplanes to Tommy's stories that I love hearing. He's a great storyteller. He has such a wealth of knowledge of the Celtics history. And I'm going to really miss having Tommy around. He was fun to be around. He was a guy that you knew always had your back, and he was passionate about it. Like, he didn't always agree with you. He didn't always think that the Celtics were doing the right thing. Even though he was always in our corner on air, he was a very loyal friend and supporter of the team.
Tim Bontemps?
Danny, I know obviously this is a complicated offseason for you guys compared to normal with, likely to have this transaction window open next week and then the draft and then free agency right after that. And then obviously training camp just a few days later. I was just curious, compared to a normal offseason, how does that change your guys' approach and complicate trying to figure out how to both put together this roster and then also get ready for the new season coming up so quickly?
I don't know, Tim. I mean, we'll see. We're ready. We're ready for it to begin. We're ready for the draft. We're still trying to make some deals before the draft and, to improve our team. We have our list of players that we will try to pursue in free agency. But as you know, those things, we don't know who everyone's going to draft. We don't know who else is interested in the same free agents that we might have. We don't know exactly, depending on what deals that we're able to do or not do will depend on the amount of money that we can offer free agents. So there's a lot of unknown factors. And I mean, draft day, the 19th and the 20th are going to be crazy. We'll be resting up and being ready for that battle.
John Corrales?
I guess in that same respect, you just said that adding 4 rookies to this team would not be ideal. Everybody knows that. Other teams know that. How does that impact your position of leverage when you're trying to make these moves?
Well, one of the challenges is that, this is not a great draft, but it's a fairly deep draft. And when we're looking to trade players, not every rookie is the same. Not every rookie is a 19-year-old that needs his hand held and needs to spend a year in the G League. And, some rookies are much more mature, ready to step in and play right away, at least a certain role. When you draft a player like Shemi Ojale or Grant Williams, I mean, they're just grown adults. And then there's other kinds of rookies, as we all know. So that matters too. And so not all rookies, not all draft picks, have to be kids that have their hand held, but there are many rookies that come in and are the hardest working, the most diligent. And so those will be factors too if we end up using picks.
Also, with the short turnaround from the playoffs to the beginning of next season, you've talked about Kemba Walker's name not being right. How does this impact his recovery? How do you expect him to be? How ready do you expect him to be for a training camp that's suddenly going to begin December 1st? And then how would you handle him during the rest of the beginning of the season?
Yeah, so I don't know the answer to that yet. But whatever it is, we'll be ready for that. And I have all the confidence in the world that Kemba will be back and healthy and fresh and ready. When that is, what he's doing right now is very important during this off season. But, we know how good of a player Kemba is and how good he can be. And, last year was a very unique situation too. And this upcoming year is very unique. But, we have to put Kemba's health at the front as a number one priority going in. I mean, in regarding Kemba, we have to make sure we got 3 more years with Kemba at least. And we're excited about those 3 years. He's a terrific player, but yeah, there could be maintenance issues during the off season and early part of the season, but at some point he'll be back and ready to go.
All right. We're going to give it another shot with Adam Hillsbach.
Third time. You got me, Danny?
Gotcha, Adam.
All right. I had to switch devices. You mentioned last time we spoke to you that this might be a year where you do kind of veer towards drafting for need. When you look at the roster, I know it's tough because you don't know what's going to happen in free agency, but where are kind of areas of need where you'd like to fortify the roster?
Well, I mean, between now and, I don't want to get into that too much, Adam, because I don't know the answer to that. That answer could change in 3 days or 4 days if there's anything else done before the draft. But, I think shooting is always something that I'm looking for. But, you can never have too many great athletes and great defenders. Everything matters, size, length, shooting, passing, thinking, savvy, all those things matter.
Brian Robb.
Hey, Danny. Gordon and Ennis have obviously player options coming up next week. Have you guys gotten an indication, or have you guys been in touch with their camps? And have you gotten an indication from the NBA in terms of when the deadline will be for them to pick up those options, whether that's before the draft or after the draft?
My understanding is that'll be after the draft.
Dan Roche.
Hi, Danny. Just a thought on with all you've had some time to reflect on where you guys are at as an organization right now as you're ready for the draft, as you're ready for free agency. What, the strangeness of last year you mentioned, but just coming off what you were able to do last season as you get ready for this next phase and then get ready for another season. How good do you feel about where you're at as an organization, where the player growth is going to and coming together and growing as a team?
I feel good about the organization. I mean, we have great ownership. We have great relationship between ownership, management, and coaching and players. I feel like, our team has been very close. We've won a lot of playoff games over the last decade. I think more than any other team in the NBA, for that matter, over the last dozen years or so. And I think that, we just need to get that step. We're trying to win a championship, and there's some great competition out there. There's some terrific teams, and we're just trying to get to that point and just get back to where we're truly contending for a championship. I felt like we could have been there this year, had we been 100% healthy, but we weren't. And that's part of the game. As a player, I've been on teams that, we weren't 100% healthy, even though it looked like we were in the hunt. We really weren't, because, we just weren't the same. And that's how I felt last year was. I think that our guys battled, and there's a lot of great things going on in our organization and our youth and the development of our young players. has been phenomenal, and I think we have a very bright future.
Adam Himmelsbach.
Danny, obviously such unique circumstances this year preparing for the draft. Can you just walk us through a little bit what it's been like for you guys? Not obviously no in-person combine visits are different. Just kind of navigating that.
Yeah, it's been more difficult just because, as you guys have known, and guys that we have seen and worked out in the past, I mean, those workouts mean a lot. It doesn't mean everything. We certainly know who and what they've done throughout their college careers and high school careers. But I think getting to meet people and get up close personal contact and watching them work out against other players that you may be weighing them against is very helpful. And so have been able to do none of that. We've been able to see, I think we've seen 8 individual workouts, one coach, one player shooting in a gym, and that's about it. And, that's not ideal, but it's the same for every team. So it is what it is, and we'll do the best we can. And that's why we scout all year and watch players throughout the course of the season and try to prepare for this moment.
A few more questions for Danny. We'll go to Jared Weiss.
Danny, we saw in the playoffs a lot of the teams that were successful were going to really small lineups, especially in crunch time. And your roster was already built to be able to do that last year, but because of health issues, you didn't get to do it a lot last year. Is that something that you think you're going to lean into more in the future? And how does that affect your roster building plans and talent acquisition plans in the future?
Jared, I'm sorry, I lost you there for a second. You said small lineups?
Yeah, there are a lot of micro lineups with no bigs out there.
Yeah, so I think that, I think that's a little bit not true in my opinion. I think that when you say LeBron as a 4 and Anthony Davis as a 5, as an example, as a small lineup, I think that's pretty ridiculous. And when you say Giannis as a center, that seems pretty silly that they're not big. I saw a lot of big lineups out there. I think you need to be able to play both, Jared, is the answer. I think that, when I was a coach in Phoenix, we played small because my best players were small. I think that Brad plays small because his best players are small right now. Last year before this past year, we played a lot of Al Horford and Aaron Baines together. And I think being able to play both is ideal. And that's what I would like to see our team be. That's easier said than done. But right now, our small lineups and other teams' small lineups also, we saw in the Miami series, they played very small. And I think that's because those are the best players. It's that simple.
Justin Quinn.
Hi, Danny. I'm wondering if you've had a chance to talk with either local government or also the league about the potentiality of having fans in the stadiums this season.
I have not personally. I know that organizationally we're following all the government rules, and we get rules that we're supposed to follow, but that's above my pay grade. We have people that are in contact with the league and with our state government, and they'll give us the green light to take phases, go by phases, and to get fans back in. We miss our fans. We love our fans. We have the best fans in the NBA, and we can't wait for them to get back, but we certainly will follow all the guidelines.
All right, final question for Danny. We'll go to Bob Schron.
Bob,
Hi. Hey, Danny. How are you? I'm sorry for your trouble. Sorry about all this. Danny, one of the nights immediately after the playoff ended, you said, we have work to do. Anything specific that you can, I hate to say it this way, generally address that was immediately in your mind that you felt that we had work to do in?
I always feel we have work to do, Bobby. So, I don't know what I was referring to specifically, but we've been doing nothing but working. Even during the bubble, we've been working, preparing for the draft, preparing for free agency, looking at opportunities to make moves that we think can address some of ways to make our team better. But like I always say, you know, we're trying to do good deals, not just deals to make deals. And I know there's a lot of opinions on what we should and shouldn't do, but it's hard to get deals done. It's hard to get the deals. I mean, there's teams out there that want to do deals that can't match up contracts. You have to get third and fourth teams involved, and a lot of times deals fall through in that scenario. But this is a difficult time for every team. I think this quick turnaround and, you know, just a few days of big decisions to be made. I think there will be some deals done because there certainly has been a lot of talk. I just don't know what deals will or won't be done. And if they won't be done, it's because teams weren't able to get them done, not because there wasn't a lack of work and effort. So we'll just keep doing what we always do, Bobby, and see what we can do to make our team better. But we don't feel a need to have to do anything because we do like our guys. And
I'm just wondering if there was a specific.
Some people view that as like overvaluing our players. Well, we do value them. We do value our guys. I mean, our team has been to the Final Four 3 of the last 4 years with very young core group of guys, and that's not nothing. But we would like to take a step, and you know, the best step right now could be player development and our young players just getting better, more experienced.